Greetings everyone, welcome to ChessAdvancedd. This game was played in FIDE World Cup and this is from round 2. With the black pieces we have Wesley So, one of the leaders of FIDE World Cup, and with the white pieces he's facing against Titas Stremavicius. And the thing is that the difference between their ratings is roughly again 200 points, 200 to 50 points, and that's the range. And definitely it's going to be a tough round for Titas. So let's see what Wesley would have to deal with. Their first game ended in a draw, and this is the game Wesley has to survive with the black pieces. So here just d4 was played, we have d5, and now just knight to f3, knight to f6, and just c4. This is the queen's pawn opening. This is symmetrical variation, and now just going for this e6, and we have knight to c3, bishop to e7, and here just c caps on d5, e captures. This we transpose into basically the queen's gambit decline. This is the exchange variation, bishop to f4 now, and now just going for c6 and transposing into something of a Slav kind of setup. But here just h3, queen to b6, and just queen to c2 in this position, g6 now, and here just e3, bishop to f5, attacking the queen, just developing pieces, and here queen to c1. And here you could go for this knight bd7, just finish development, connect rook, wait for castles. But trouble is you can go for g4 in this position, and that will attack the bishop, so you're gonna have to be careful. Bishop goes to e4, and although you could eliminate it, eliminating is not the best move in this position. I mean, that would bring the knight towards the center and not something you would want. So here just bishop to e2, just develop, wait and see where you want a castle in this position. Probably most likely not in a semi-open file. And here after h6, now just a3, and after a6 you just play queen to d2, g5 now, attacking the bishop. Once the bishop moves, there are a lot of moves you can play. You can maybe challenge the queen side by going for a move like a5. You can also go for rook to d8, maybe castling. You should wait for castling, because if white doesn't decides not to go for castles, then the thing is that there would be an attack starting towards the king side, and you don't want that to happen. So all of this was there, but after queen to c1, just castles was played, a calm move. And here we have g4 nonetheless, so we go into the same line. And here bishop to e4, but just bishop to e2, and now just knight bd7, castles, bishop caps on f3, and we have bishop captures. So now you're gonna Wesley decided to that is fine to face the bishop pair, but is it going to be okay throughout the end? Because well, the thing is that bishop can jump in. You can also somewhere along the line just open up some lines with a move like e4. The rooks can be connected. It's not going to be an easy defensive way for Wesley throughout, but Wesley definitely has thought of something. So let's see what he decides to do. He goes for queen back to d8, and we have queen to c2 now. And here a move like knight to b6 just makes sense, because I don't know where you're going to be keeping this knight throughout the game, because you cannot play towards the queen side here, and you cannot play towards the king side. So I mean, just moving the piece towards b6, it just makes sense. Here you just go for knight to b6, king to g2, and after rook to e8, just g5 will come eventually, knight f to d7, and after h4 you play this knight to f8, trying to go for this knight to e6, and after bishop to g3 you push h5. You cannot go for en passant here, because the thing is that bishop captures there would take place, and you don't want that to happen. So here after rook a to d1, the game goes on with roughly equal chances. Bishop to d6 will be played to challenge this very strong bishop, and once the trade takes place, the thing is that knight can jump here, and we'll see where we go from there. But after queen to c2, here just knight to e8 was played, and knight to e8, trying to maybe remaneuver the knight to better squares. Again, maybe you have something like this in mind, but still here just e4. And I told you that e4 thrust somewhere along the line is going to be played, because well, that is the only break in the center, and the person who controls the most breaks sometimes has a better position or gets a better position, and that's why Engine is preferring white here. Just e caps on e4, bishop caps on e4, and now just comes knight to f6, attacking the bishop, and here just rook a to d1. So Wesley kind of repeating moves, but let's see what Wesley has in mind. He goes for this knight to c7, bishop to g2, and just queen to d7 in this position, queen to b3 now, and here just knight c to d5. And although you could trade, but trading is not the best move in this position. Just developing the bishop, maybe getting the bishop to better squares, maybe starting an attack, maybe just getting the rooks to better files. There are a lot more things you need to consider here. So bishop to e5 was played, and now just comes this rook f to e8. Now even g5, attacking that, and we saw this move in that previous line where the g5 move was very, very strong. Unfortunately, you don't have the d7 square to be able to attack the bishop. So here just knight caps on c3 was played, a swish and soak. Here you could have also gone for knight to h5 instead of trading, and after knight caps on d5 you play c captures. But the thing is that this is going to be always a nuisance. Queen captures, and after rook a to d8, rook captures, bishop captures, and this piece is just a bit too strong. Bishop pair is already eyeing this. The rook is going to have to remain in the second file. You have a knight on h5 which cannot get in the game. You see the picture I'm painting, right? Because this is not a good position to have at all. And although this pawn is little weak, I mean, just one move and you're just fine. And the bishop pair is going to be very strong. Even if you're able to get the bishop to e4 somewhere along the line, those bishop pairs are looking absolutely magnificent, and I don't think you would want to face this. I mean, just h4 and position is absolutely fine. But here after g5, just knight caps on c3 was played, and now here we have g captures on f6, not capturing that, but now just comes this knight caps on d1, f captures on e7, knight caps on f2, grabbing lot of the material. But the trouble is, all of these were not the best moves in the position, and Wesley just completely miscalculated here. Here bishop to f6 was played immediately, and bishop to f6 is the best move in this position. But now here just going for this rook captures on e7, Wesley decides to give back some material to be able to survive, and here Titus happily obliges. Bishop captures, queen captures, and here rook captures on f2. But the end result is that Wesley is down a complete piece, although he has pawn compensation for it. But are these going to be enough? Because you don't have a pass pawn in this position. You're going to be pushing it from scratch whenever you are going to be pushing it. Obviously you cannot do it right now because the queen is completely, just pinning the pawn. But other than that, what do you even do in this position? It's not a good position to have. A rook to d8, and Wesley, it's going to take a miracle for Wesley to survive this, believe me. A d5, and now just comes c captures and bishop captures, and he just queen to g5 check. That king being open is the only thing Wesley have in this position. Let's see how he's able to survive this. Hey, bishop to g2, now just comes rook to d7, queen to c3, and hey, just queen to e7 again. Completely, just taking away any chances from the black king. Black king is just stuck. Hey, queen to c8 check maybe would have been really strong. King to g7, you play queen to c3 check, and after f6, creating more weaknesses in the position. You do have light square weaknesses. I can utilize that bishop, and here after bishop to f1, just h5, b3, you play b6, rook to e2, just queen to d6, and the game goes on. Black is almost lost in this position. Unfortunately, I could not even believe that Wesley would actually just be in a position and in a tough spot like this against Titus. No offense to him, but Wesley is a really strong player and really active as well. I mean, he just played tremendously in Grand Chess Tour, and now then he played in US Championship as well, and he was almost in the top square to be able to win the entire thing. But now it's just really difficult for me to believe that Wesley in a spot where he's a piece down, and it's very difficult for him to actually come back from this. And this is the second round. If he loses this, he'll be out of the World Cup. Here queen to e7 was played, and now just comes rook to f1, b6, and here rook to e1, queen to d8, and queen to e5. Wesley is going to have to just try something here, otherwise this position is just a very bad position to be able to have. But now in this position, just rook to d1, and here going for more trades. I don't think so that Wesley should have gone for this, but here just rook captures, queen captures, but he's betting and banking everything that this is a queen's endgame and maybe he can survive this. Here king to h2 and just h5, now just comes a3, h4, and here just queen to e8 check, king to g7, now just going back, and now here king to g8 in this position. Queen to f2 now, just targeting that pawn, and you should save that pawn. I don't know how, but you should. Queen to d8 was played, now just comes king to g1 and queen to g5, and here queen to d4, queen to g3, and now just going back for the king. I don't know what is Titus's situation in this position. Maybe he's thinking of just putting the king all the way over here, but I don't think so. That would be a good compensation. King to h7 was played, now just comes queen to c3, queen to g5, and just bishop to c6, queen to e7 now. And the trouble is, it's only a matter of conversion. It's not like you can make some mistake in this closed structure. I mean, there is no mistake white can do that will take away the entire advantage. Only thing that can happen is in the end game. So if Wesley has to survive, he has to unfortunately trade queens and try to be in a position where he makes the mistake Titus here. So here bishop to f3 was played, now just comes queen to d6, bishop to e2, queen to f4, and now just going for king to e1, f5, king to d1, king to h6, and here just going for queen to d2, king to g5 was played, bishop to b5, and queen caps on d2. So he finally trades in this position and gets in a spot where he can push those pass pawn. But now the thing is that with this, Wesley now has a chance to be able to try and draw this game. And here bishop to e8 was played, but now just comes g5, bishop to d7, g4, and here just king, h captures. We have f captures and king to e2 in this position. And now finally just going for this g3, and g3 is it's a drawish move here. nothing you can expect other than that. Wesley has got his chance to be able to draw this game. He has to just bounce on it. Bishop to c6, and now just comes king to e5, and here king to e3, and now even h3. But h3 is a mistake in this position, and immediately here bishop to d7 was played, which is the best move. And now just comes h2, and Wesley's chances of drawing this game are moving away by a second. Both ways are down on the clock. Wesley can obviously just take advantage of the clock and maybe try to do something. A bishop to c6 was played. Now just comes king to d6, bishop to g2, king to c5, and now just b3. Here we have a5, king to d3, b5, and now just comes bishop to f3, king to d6, and just king to d4. And here we have king to e6, bishop to e4, just waiting and seeing what Wesley will do. But the thing is that the position is completely winning. All you have to do is just, block the pawns, get the king here, and just gobble up all these pawns, because the promotion square is on a light square. You can never push the pawn. Here king to f6 was played. Now just comes king to d5, king to g5, king to e5, and king to g4. But now just bishop to g2, not allowing the king to infiltrate. If the king is allowed to go on that square, I mean, then that would be really inevitable and you would not be able to do anything. So here just king to g5, and now here a4 was played. But a4 completely blunders the game, and this is absolutely crazy that something like this can completely just stumble everything. The move that you want to play in this position is a very natural move. I mean, I told you just want to go towards the pawn, so why not just go for this and just go there. King to g4 if played, or not allowing this, then you just go king to e3, because black is the one who's gonna run out of the moves here. If you play king to h4, just king to f3, you cannot remain guarding that pawn, because even if you try a4 in this position, I won't trade. I'll just go for this b4. You don't have any moves. You cannot come here, you cannot come here. You're gonna have to go there. And once you go there, I mean, I just gobble up the pawn, and it's completely winning. This is just so natural. Here in this position, Titas goes for a4, and a4 is a move that completely blunders the game. But for that, you need a really nice understanding of endgames, and that is that you need to play this b4. And b4, Wesley finds the move. But here, after king to e4, king to g4 was played, but unfortunately in a drawish position, and in a crazy thing what happened in Wesley's mind, I have no idea, but he resigns the game thinking that this is a lost position. And the thing that I was telling you about, that the king does not have a way to be able to defend this, but in this scenario you do have a way to be able to defend this endgame. And I'm just going to show it to you where Wesley just completely stumbled. He had a losing position throughout the game, and I think that played a role in just completely in his mind that he cannot stop this. But the thing is that this is completely drawn. Here king to g4, which was played, king to e3 if you decide to go, and thinking that you don't have anything, I just pick king to g5, and if king to f3, just trying to go after the pawn, king to h4. And after king to f4, now you must be thinking, well, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this, so how are you actually going to try and do anything? Well, I can just promote in this position and get a queen or get a bishop, get anything here, and whatever I do here after bishop caps on h1, there is going to be king to h3, and now you don't have anything. If you try to go for king to f3 to not allow me to push the pawn, I just go king to h2, and here after bishop to g2, I just go king to g1. And the trouble for you is you cannot capture this. If you capture this, then this is stalemate, and that's the problem in this position. You cannot do anything. You have to move it away, and I just go king to h2, and this is how this draw will unfold, because you cannot do anything other than this. You're gonna have to move the bishop back. I'll just go there, and the game would most likely end in a draw. And this is what Wesley missed, and this is the end game that really would have decided if Wesley would have stayed in the World Cup or not. He's one of the favorites to win the World Cup, and he just got eliminated in the first round that he played in World Cup. That's really a sad thing for Wesley. Wesley could have really won this and gone to the candidates, and he would have really spectacular chances to be able to win the candidates as well. Against Fabiano, I know that would be a little bit difficult, but again, he is one of the top class players. Played in US Championship almost towards the last round, he was winning it, and that too was against Fabi as well. So this is just really sad how it unfolded, and Wesley loses his chance to be able to qualify to candidates, and this is a really huge upset in the FIDE World Cup. It's very difficult for me to believe this, that Wesley is out of the tournament, but really kudos to Titas for getting this win. He was better throughout the round, and he really deserved it. I mean, he did not get lucky here at all. He really deserved it. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.